Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. I'm delighted to be joined from Los Angeles to Idaho right now with Shannon with her fantastic film Library Soulmate. But for those that haven't seen it, let's take a look at a clip.
Excuse me, whose receipt is this?
Whose receipt?
Whose account number is XXXXX421?
Honey, I can't give out information about library users.
I don't want to be weird, but I have to meet this person. I'm pretty sure he's my soulmate. Can you just give me his email address or something?
That's a hard no.
The gods wanted me to find his receipt. This is fate. Don't you want to be a part of fate?
Shannon, I loved your film, like really.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I wanted to make something that was happy and a little feel-good piece. And I think having the timing be where it is screening right now during the pandemic, people have been saying they've enjoyed having something uplifting to watch.
Definitely. And I know that everyone watching is, would have just felt good watching it. For those that haven't seen this film yet, like tell us a brief synopsis how you would describe Library Soulmate.
So Library Soulmate is about an endearing book lover who is convinced that her soulmate is a fellow member of her local library, and she's determined to track him down, whether the librarian likes it or not. So it's a cute little believing in something positive and going for it with a little bit of shenanigans and books.
As a lover of books and libraries, and just unfortunately how that's become nostalgic rather than something that we do as actively as we used to do, it was so endearing, and also just the kind of able to sort of like discover a relationship, and it's that kind of that beautiful thing that I feel like almost feels part of our history now, that we don't meet each other in these lovely organic ways that we used to. I thought that was so beautiful as well. I'm just curious for you personally, where did the inspiration come for you in creating this film? And of course you took on more than a few roles, and how was that experience for you as well?
So I am a huge book lover, and I do really love the library. So the inspiration came when I had checked out a book and there was already an old receipt in it. And I was really intrigued by the list of books that this person had checked out. And I started to think about, well, what if it was the perfect list of books? I would want to meet this person and talk with them. So the idea sort of progressed from there into what if this person was the person of my dreams? And so it was a fun evolution. And I really enjoy continuing the story, thinking about how I would turn it into a feature. It was also for me a really big learning experience. As you said, I did a couple of things for the project. I wrote it, I directed it, I acted in it. I was producing with it along with Jennifer Brofer, and an incredible producer. And so for me, all of the cast and crew that I hired, I did it with the intention of wanting to learn. This was sort of my film school. And so I wanted it to be in a contained location, pretty manageable cast and crew. And I just came into it like, you're the expert, help advise me. What do you think the shot should be? This is what I'm going for. How can we make this work? And really got to learn so much doing it. So it was a win all around.
It was so slick, like it was so slick to watch. Like it was, I love everything just from how it was produced, how it visually looked. You were fantastic on camera and just captivating in these moments of, hoping you're going to find your soulmate in this film. You really led us on that journey, and you're such a likable character that you wrote in this film as well. I'm always in admiration for anyone that has written something, directing something, produce something, and acting in something. I mean, it's mesmerizing, Shannon. It really is. What was that? I mean, as I say, I love it when you can make something that's like your film school. But what was that experience like for you? Was there kind of any challenges? How was that for you?
It was really challenging. I was so lucky to have really competent people on set to help support me. I think one of the biggest takeaways that I had from it is I don't love being on camera as an actor while also being in charge of directing. So one of the biggest things that I took away from it is that I'd like to choose to direct, or I'd like to choose to act in a project, because it was really a challenge for me to give myself enough time for each one. So I may have been more quick to be like, oh, that take was good enough. But maybe it would have been nicer as an actor to do it one more time and get it right. And director to go, oh, I don't really know how to get this shot, so let's just do it like this and move forward, you know. And it was also indie filmmaking, the biggest crunch is usually time and money. So that was true for this case as well. So it was really a make it work experience. And the biggest thing was I was so grateful to have the cast and crew that I had to help me with their expertise.
Oh, I mean, it all, you know, worked out wonderfully. I just want to go into like, you know, this lovely human kind of interaction element, you know. Firstly, you know, I'm still a book person. I haven't switched to the Kindle yet. Secondly, the idea of going to discover books and that experience of finding things that you wouldn't necessarily have found if you just were scrolling, looking for something. And thirdly, just where we are today in the whole sort of what we've been dealt with in the sort of dating scene where, you know, we don't really get to sort of visualize or interact in this way. We're in a very sort of like different world and it's kind of scary and sad. Was those kind of some elements that you kind of wanted to, you know, captivate in the film? Because I almost felt you just made us all imagine again. It was great.
Thank you. I think I was really thinking about it coming from a book lover perspective and the excitement over finding a love of books and that type of interest. I really, not until it was made was I really thinking about the juxtaposition between the film and how many people are having relationships now and finding new people to date and how challenging it is to be compatible. And especially this year, I've noticed how difficult it is to try to date. You know, this has been a strange year for single people. So I'm also a romantic. I loved the romance of it. The more I think about it, the more I think about how the relationship with the librarian could be a soulmate relationship. I've really been thinking, especially I mentioned the feature, wanting to explore that and how their relationship is one, because that's what we're watching is their interactions and the magic that the librarian, especially played by Lisa Costanza, who's incredible, and also a veteran as Army Colonel. What she brought to it was just magic.
Really true. And I was going to say, that the character of the librarian was so great, and it you know, it's so nice to go to an expert about books and how much they enjoy telling you about books as well. But yet, this very comical relationship between your character and hers, and it was so good to watch. It really was. So there obviously is room for a feature, which I wanted. So tell us, that's something in the plans, in the works?
That's something that I've been dreaming up. It's still in the dreaming phase. It's still in the outline phase, but this type of feel-good project is definitely the kind that I want to make. And like I said, I was doing a lot of learning with Library Soulmate, and the next step in the evolution with that is learning on bigger and grander projects. So a feature film is definitely down the road for me.
I love that. And, you know, it's always when you're filming in a public place, particularly somewhere that is a library, I mean, in your process of finding locations, how do you know, what was your process in just actually finding a library, and where was that?
So this was actually a bookshop. This is at the Claremont Forum. Yes, an incredible, enchanting little bookshop. So I had the script ahead of time, and I love libraries. I love bookshops. Had found this location and absolutely fell in love with it and approached them and said, what's the possibility of being able to film something here? And they were so generous and supportive. And they don't open until noon. So they said, you can come in anytime before noon and film. So that meant early mornings for my crew. It was in Claremont, so we had the drive ahead of time. And of course, when you are shooting in public locations and you have a very small budget, sound was an issue. The restaurant next door was doing a lot of clanging and banging. And so it's always the hold for sound, but how long do we have to hold? We don't have that much time in the location. So that was the magic of finding this really beautiful location that was willing to let us come and film in there.
Well, I'm glad, and it's always nice when you find those relationships that are all for your projects and want to help and support, and it's very, very, very exciting. Now I know I'm so proud that you created and made this film and put a smile on our faces in this very interesting time. And I think that was also something of been a beauty. But what's your experience been like in sharing it with an audience, and what's that reaction been like for you?
It's been so fun to get to share it and to have people react to it. And it something that was really fun as a creator was seeing other people bring my words to life. So I talked about Lisa. I mean, Lisa was delightful. Jack Murillo as well. Watching them perform the words that I had created was a sort of personal magic for me. But now that people are getting to watch the film and they come to me having loved their performances, it just feels like a big love fest. I feel so proud to have made it. I feel really proud of the people who did such a beautiful job with it. And I feel excited that it's getting a warm reception, that it's a very simple little piece and it's not long. And I like that it's just a little bit of happiness for 8 minutes out of someone's day.
Yeah, it really is. And, I think people are very lucky to have you, leading the way on set because, essentially, I feel you can feel in films when you've got a good vibe on set. And I felt that even just from how your film was articulated. I've seen that many, and so, kudos to you for actually, leading the line there and creating this, wonderful atmosphere and for a film for us to all enjoy on top of all of that as well. Now, obviously, there's the dream plans of the feature, which I'm very excited and we can't wait for that. What else are you working on at the moment?
Right now, a friend of mine called this period the big slowdown. It's really been a time to accept that dreams might take longer, that production is shooting down, and to concentrate on what's most important, which is safety. And so this has been a season where I've got to spend months with my family. And usually as an actor, it's hard to even spend a week with them because I'm afraid of taking a trip or I'll miss an audition. So this has been a period of slowing down, getting to spend time with family and getting to really focus on myself and my craft. So I've been doing dialect coaching to work on my RP accent. I've been getting back into class. I've been doing a writing group with a bunch of other women who are also writing this month. So just taking the time to focus on the things that are the most important to me and to get to really hone my craft while I wait for the next opportunity.
Oh, I love that. And that is honestly, I think that's the best thing you can be doing is, with, your art and your creativity and even just having the time to work on yourself as well. I think that's such an important thing we should all be doing. So, so that's really, really, great to hear. I obviously you've learned so much from the experience, taking on all those roles and I love that you call it a film school and you're setting yourself new challenges. But I'm just curious for any filmmakers that want to follow in your footsteps and out there, is there any kind of piece of advice that you go by that you can maybe share with our audience to sort of encourage others to follow?
I think the biggest thing is to create, to not be afraid of making mistakes. And as filmmakers, we have to be unafraid of making public mistakes because by nature we're creating projects that we're then giving to other people to watch, and they're going to like them, they're going to not like them, and they're going to connect or not connect, and that's okay. For me, I tend to be a perfectionist, so I will take a really, really long time before I take action on something or release it. And I'm learning more and more that the most important thing is to just keep taking those steps forward and to be unafraid of failing, to learn from all of those lessons and to create the next thing. One of the biggest things that I remember about this is that by the time I'm done with it, I've learned so much from making the project that I've already outgrown it. And now my taste is better, my skills are developed and strengthened, and I'm already better than the film that I've made. So it can be hard for creators to enjoy the work that they've done, but it's all part of the process.
Oh, if our audience can't be inspired by that, Shannon, I don't know what, because that was amazing and such wise words as well, because it's truly, truly important. And we're learning all the time as human beings. And I love that you shared that. Well, I just want you to keep making a lot more films all the time, if that's possible, please. Keep bringing to new filmmakers. Yeah. But listen, thank you for the world of Library Soulmate. Thank you for keeping us believing. Everybody read books, please, and enjoy the experience of discovering new things. And thank you for reminding us of that. And we really appreciate you and your art. So thank you very much, Shannon. Thank you for Library Soulmate.
Thank you so much for the warm reception and for all of the support. This has been such a great experience.
Thank you very much.